Get ready to kickstart your journey to wellness with the ultimate guide in town. Welcome to Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone. Join us as we journey through the realms of natural healing, where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Prepare to be inspired by stories of transformation and triumph. With Doc Stone as your guide, discover the power of holistic living and the joy of reclaiming your health. Prepare for a whirlwind adventure through the world of holistic wellness. From fitness freaks to spiritual gurus, we've got something for everyone. So grab your sneakers, your yoga mat, or just your sense of curiosity, and let's dive headfirst into a world of wellness wonders. Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone. Your path to a vibrant life starts now. Well, welcome back to Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone. I am your host, holistic health coach and practitioner, Jeremy Doc Stone, and I'm thrilled you're joining us today. Just a reminder that everything we talk about in this episode is not meant to intended to diagnose or treat any type of disease. If you're suffering any kind of medical conditions, please make sure that you do consult with your healthcare practitioner. Hey, this show is also brought to you by ArrowStreamTV Network and our holistic health coaching practice, Doc Stone's Natural Medicine and Wellness. We're grateful for both of those sponsors so that we can have this show each week right here on whatever platform you're watching or listening to it on, so that you can learn about natural and holistic ways to support your health. You know, this month is June. It is an important month. It is here in the U.S. what we designate as Men's Mental Health Month. And so today I want to honor that Men's Mental Health Month, and we're going to talk about men's mental health and different ways that we can support it naturally and holistically. This month is dedicated to shedding light on an area often shrouded in silence. For too long, men have been told to man up, quote unquote, to suppress their emotions, to be stoic and strong. But true strength, my friends, lies in acknowledging our vulnerabilities and seeking help when we need it. Today, we're diving deep into the unspoken burdens men carry, the mental health challenges they face, and how we can cultivate wellness from the inside out, naturally and holistically. Now, while this show is focusing on men's mental health, I want to encourage our female audience members to pay attention, to take some notes. Maybe you'll recognize some of these things that we talk about in the important men in your life, and you will be able to guide them to getting some help naturally and to be able to overcome those mental health issues. So in this first segment, I want to dive into some of the common mental health issues that men face. And we'll dig into a little bit of them each. Remember, this is not all comprehensive, but it's intended to give you a basic foundational knowledge of this topic. Now, let's be real. Mental health isn't a women's issue or a men's issue. It's a human issue. However, societal expectations and traditional masculine norms can lead to unique manifestations and challenges for men when it comes to their mental well-being. What's that mean? Well, it means that all different sorts of the segments of the population suffer from mental health issues. So it's not just men that have mental health issues, obviously, but I think that there's some uniqueness, some differences between the types of mental health issues or in the causes of mental health issues that are faced between men and women. And it's important to recognize, especially, what those could be so that we can get the help that we need. Now, one of the common things that men suffer from is depression. So while often associated with sadness, depression in men can look a bit different. We might see irritability, anger, aggression, increased risk taking, or even physical symptoms like chronic headaches or digestive issues. Many men struggling with depression might try to self-medicate with alcohol or drugs, or throw themselves into work as a distraction. It's crucial to recognize these less traditional signs. Depression isn't expressed just by sadness. That's what I want you to pick up from this, is that, we expect people to look sad, but depression can manifest itself in a lot of other ways, especially in men, and especially with the aggression and with the overworking. I want you to note that sometimes men just seem to focus and commit themselves and spend all of their time working or trying to accomplish something as a way to mask depression. So these are some of the signs to look for in your men for depression. Another thing that men suffer from is anxiety disorders. So this isn't just about feeling stressed. Men can experience generalized anxiety disorder. We call it GAD, G-A-D, social anxiety, panic disorder, and even obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Symptoms might include a pervasive sense of worry, restlessness, difficulty concentrating, or sleep problems, or a combination of all of those. Again, for some men, anxiety can manifest as anger or irritability rather than over worry. I think it's interesting that you look at both anxiety and depression, and it can be manifested in men not in the traditional ways. But if you have a man in your life, or if you're a man and you find yourself constantly, very frequently being irritable and angry and dissatisfied, this could actually be a sign of anxiety or depression. So substance use disorders, men do suffer a lot from substance abuse disorders. This is a big one. So men are more likely than women. I want you to catch this. Men are more likely than women to misuse alcohol and drugs, often as a coping mechanism for underlying mental health issues. Like anxiety or depression. In other words, they use alcohol and they use drugs and these different substances to cope with the fact that they're anxious and they are depressed. The cycle can be vicious, with substance use exacerbating mental health symptoms. When a man, or anybody for that matter, but when a man falls into substance abuse, it creates this cycle, this circle, where it compounds the anxiety and depression. So they use more alcohol and drugs, which compounds more the anxiety and the depression, and just becomes this vicious cycle that it seems like they can't get off. It's like a hamster wheel, but the hamster is stuck, and it just keeps building up there. So there's a no time that substance use is going to help your anxiety or depression. It's only going to exacerbate it and make it worse. You want to try to avoid that at all costs. Another common mental health issue that men suffer from is post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. We're starting to hear more and more about this in the news over the last 5-10 years, and people are beginning to talk about it more. I think especially since, we entered into a period of time when it seemed like that our military in particular was in constant states of conflict in different parts of the country. And so a lot more people became open to talking about this topic of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is oftentimes, though, especially for those who are suffering for it, something that they're not comfortable talking about. There still seems to be a bit of shame around it, which I hope that eventually we can all get over, that there's no shame, that we can openly talk about, the stress that we're facing from trauma that we experienced in the past, because in reality, that's really the only way that we can eventually, hopefully, overcome it and to really gain control of this. So while it's often linked to combat veterans, PTSD can affect any man who has experienced or witnessed a traumatic event. A lot of people think about our soldiers having PTSD, but we don't think about our law enforcement officers who have to investigate some of the most heinous things, our medical personnel who see some of the worst stuff, or even, victims of trauma in their own life. A lot of men have grown up in households where they possibly experienced adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, or traumatic events in their childhood, and they may still be suffering PTSD from that. Maybe they witnessed a traumatic event, accidents, assaults, natural disasters. All of these things can trigger PTSD. Symptoms include flashbacks, nightmares, hypervigilance, and emotional numbness. Men with PTSD might also present with anger and aggression. Again, we're seeing anger, aggression, irritability being a common sign for men for mental health issues. And so we need to begin looking at this, not just that the guy's being a jerk or a pompous jerk or any other name that you want to think of. I can think of some that I can't obviously say on TV here, but maybe they're actually suffering an underlying mental health issue. Maybe they're depressed or anxious or have PTSD. So we always want to dig a little bit deeper before we just assume that it's a poor personality and they're just not nice people. And then, of course, another mental health issue is suicide. Suicide, it's a stark and heartbreaking reality. Men are disproportionately affected by suicide with higher rates than women. The stigma surrounding men seeking help plays a significant role in this. In other words, as a society, we've taught our men that it's not okay to ask for help. And so then what happens is that they have nobody to talk to. They can't get any assistance with these mental health issues that they're having. They fall into hopelessness, and it appears that the only way that they can resolve this stress, this anxiety, this PTSD is the act of suicide. And so we have to do a better job as a society in encouraging men to open up and to talk about and to be okay with having emotions and exposing their vulnerabilities. We've spent far too long teaching men and our young boys to suck it up, buttercup, to not share their emotions, to not cry, to not do anything. And so what they do is they bottle it up, and eventually it leads to these mental health issues among men that go undiagnosed, they go unrecognized until it's too late and they take actions into their own hands. We need to normalize the conversations about suicidal thoughts and make it clear that help's available and effective. We need to make it okay for men to talk. We need to stop putting the weight of the world on men's shoulders, expecting them to carry it all without ever showing any kind of weakness. We need to teach them that there is strength in vulnerableness. This is what we need to do to be able to turn around the mental health issues for the men in our lives. So what are the underlying causes of some of these issues? Beyond genetics, which can certainly play a role, we see a confluence of factors when it comes to men's mental health. One, let's talk about societal expectations. The pressure to be strong, stoic, and self-reliant can prevent men from acknowledging struggles or seeking help. Phrases like man up are incredibly damaging. We need to make sure that our men know that it's okay to ask for help and to not be able to do everything on their own. Two, let's talk about lack of emotional literacy. Many men aren't taught how to identify, express, or process their emotions in healthy ways. This can lead to bottling things up until they erupt or manifest as physical symptoms. Now, we've talked about on this show many times about different diseases and health issues and chronic illness. What we need to understand is oftentimes our emotional self, our mental health, can trigger physical symptoms in our body. It's called somatization. We get these somatic symptoms that are caused physically in our bodies, these illnesses that are caused physically in our body based upon our mental health. We need to make sure that we are keeping our mental health at the forefront so that we can try to live a physically healthier life as well. The mind, the body, the spirit, it's a tripartite. They're completely connected, and you cannot be sick in one and be healthy in all the others. They all connect with each other. And so if you are not well in your mind, your body and your spirit can be sick. If you're not well in your spirit, your body and your mind can be sick. And likewise, if you're not well in your body, you get it. You can be sick in your mind and in your spirit. So we don't want to be bottling these things up. 3, life stressors. Financial strain. This is a huge one for a lot of people. Relationship problems, work-related stress and burnout, and even body image issues. Yes, men struggle with that too, not just women. Can significantly impact mental health. We want to make sure that we're trying to do those things that we can to limit stress. We've talked about stress a lot on this show. We have to learn how to alleviate stress in our lives so that our bodies can heal itself. You cannot live stress every single day, never turning that switch off, and have a healthy body at the same time. Your body will give out on you if you don't learn how to alleviate stress. You have to have effective stress relief. Stress. I don't even like to say manage stress. I don't want to manage stress. I want it to go away. Stress at the appropriate time is healthy for you, but we got to learn how to be able to flip that switch off. Trauma. Unresolved past traumas can linger and contribute to various mental health conditions. There's some research that shows that your cells have memories. And so if your cells have memories, that means that when we suffer traumas in our childhood, whether it be physical abuse, sexual abuse, and this goes for men and for women as well. The trauma of divorce, the trauma of abandonment, any other kind of trauma that we experience in our childhood, that oftentimes the cells in our body can remember that trauma. And so we want to make sure that as we're walking through our healing journey, that we are not forgetting to deal with the traumas that we may have faced in our life. It can be kind of painful to go back and address those, to remember the traumas that we experience, because as a protective mechanism, oftentimes we try to block it out of our mind, we try to block it off. But unless we can heal that emotional trauma, whether it's from early adulthood or whether from childhood, or there's even some talk about that you can suffer emotional trauma in the womb even. We want to make sure that we get that resolved so that we can begin to move into healing in our mental minds and also into our physical bodies. So trauma is very, very important for us to do. So now that we kind of understand what some of the mental health issues that men face are and what some of the underlying causes of them are, let's talk a little bit about some natural, holistic, herbal, and functional medicine remedies that you might be able to use in order to support your mental health. So let's shift gears to empowerment, because that's really what this is. Being able to use these different modalities is empowering you to take control of your mental health and to reverse your mental health conditions. So while professional mental health care is absolutely vital, and it should be a step in your process for anyone struggling, we can also support our mental well-being with natural, holistic, herbal, and functional medicine approaches. These work by addressing the root causes, and we talk a lot about root cause medicine here on the show, and supporting the body's innate healing capabilities. Your body has the innate ability to heal itself. And all we got to do is give it the right tools, the right nudges to help it to do that. Put it in the right environment, and your body is going to do well by you for many, many years. If you expose it to the wrong environment, whether that's nutrition, toxins, or any of the things we talk about on this show, then you're setting your body up for failure, and you're going to reduce your quality years. So number one, let's talk about nutritional foundations, because fueling the brain is super important. And these are important. Now these nutritional foundations that we're going to talk about, you can do better with your diet. You can eat foods that are high in them. But the fact is, folks, is that it is impossible for you to get all of the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and everything that you really need for your body to be functional through just your diet. You have to be supplementing. As much as I hate to say that, you do need to take high quality supplements, especially for some of these core things, in order for you to get your body to a functional level where you're not where you're not just not sick, but where you're healthy. And that's what we want to help you to do. That's what we do in our practice, is we help you to optimize your body system so that you can your body can do what it's supposed to do, and you can be healthier and hopefully not have some of these chronic diseases. So let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids. They're found in fish like salmon, and fatty fish like salmon, flax seeds, and walnuts. Great sources of omega-3 fatty acids. These are crucial for your brain health and have shown promise in reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety. Go think about it. The healthier that your brain is, the less likely you are to suffer from depression and anxiety. So aim for a high quality fish oil supplement with EPA and DHA. We will be providing a link in the show notes for you to go register for a patient account. You get it 10% off. You can order your high level practitioner, high quality practitioner supplements, whether it's the omega-3 fatty acids or anything else that we talk about from, that's 10% off as a gift from us here at our practice. We put that link in there. Just register your patient account, and you will automatically get 10% off all of our high quality nutritional supplements, herbs, and the like for your health. So whole foods diet, this is fundamental. We talk about diet all the time. So a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins provides essential nutrients for neurotransmitter function and overall brain health. Those neurotransmitters are super important, and a lot of the quality and the amount of your neurotransmitters are created by what we eat. So it's really important for you to eat a diet. I'll include a link in the show notes too, where if you want to get a neurotransmitters test to see where you're at on your neurotransmitters, you click the link, order your test. We'll get that test kit sent out to you, and then you ship it back to our lab, and we'll be able to see where you're at, how your brain is. We can identify if your brain's what we call on fire, if it's inflamed, but we'll put that link in the show notes for you as well. So we want to minimize processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats, which can contribute to inflammation and mood instability. I find a lot of times in my practice that when we do neurotransmitter testing, we do neurozoomer tests on them, that a lot of people are walking around with inflammation in their brains and they don't even know it. It's causing a lot of their mental health issues, their emotional issues, their behavioral issues. And so if we can test rather than guess, we can identify these issues, then we can help to address it with the appropriate techniques to help strengthen your neurotransmitters. So again, I'll leave that link in the notes. Let's talk about B vitamins, especially B6, B9, which is also called folate, or B12. These are vital for nerve function and the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. So we want to pay attention to these. I find that almost anybody suffering from emotional disorders, behavioral disorders, mental disorders, they are deficient in B vitamins almost all the time. So again, if you're not sure, test, let's find out where you're at. But here's the thing, that I want you to remember is that even, that the deficiency of especially vitamin B12 can cause brain damage. You want to make sure that you are getting high quality, the proper form of B12. Don't just take a vitamin that says B12, because there's different forms of it. So it's better that you work with a practitioner and get direction in the right way. But you want to make sure that you're getting these B12s, because they are vital for the production of those neurotransmitters. They're found in our foods, in leafy greens, legumes, whole grains, and lean meats. But again, it's virtually impossible to get the functional amount of vitamin Bs through just your food. So it's important to take a high quality methylized version of vitamin B. And again, you can get those through the link that we'll put in the show notes there. But these vitamins, B vitamins, are super important for regulating mood. So, it's something that you need to be aware of. And I can pretty much guarantee that your conventional medical doctor's not talking to you about, and if they are, not nearly enough. Magnesium, often called the calming mineral. Magnesium supports nerve function and can help reduce anxiety and improve sleep. It's virtually impossible to have any kind of good health, whether it be physical health or mental health, if your sleep is not good. So magnesium helps with our sleep. It helps with nerve function, and good sources in our food include dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and dark chocolate. But again, virtually the majority of people that I come across, the majority of the population is deficient in magnesium and should be supplemented in one way or another. Vitamin D, this is also called the sunshine vitamin. That's because when you're out in the sun and you expose your skin to it, your body then converts it to vitamin D inside of your body. But because of our lifestyles now, our sedentary lifestyles, being indoors, artificial light, all of that, pretty much everybody's deficient in vitamin D. But vitamin D is super important, not just for your nerves. It's really important for your mood, for your brain. It's important to reduce inflammation. It just plays so many roles in your body. So definitely I recommend, with all of our clients, we check their vitamin D levels, and, we make sure that we supplement appropriately. So get tested, find out where your vitamin D level is, and then supplement, and then test again, so you can make sure that you're getting up to the functional levels, not the levels that your doctor's lab is telling you, because that's not functional. That's barely even not being sick. But we want to get you up to functional levels of vitamin D in your system, because it plays such an important role for so many things. Now, let's talk a little bit about probiotics and gut health. The gut-brain axis is fascinating. So a healthy gut microbiome can positively impact mood. In fact, a large portion of your neurotransmitters are actually produced by your microbiome in your gut. That's why the first lab test that I do with every single one of our clients that I recommend to everybody is a microbiome test. We actually map out your microbiome, look for dysbiosis, and we look to see which microbes are actually maybe overpopulated or underpopulated in your system, because these different microbes play different roles in creating your immune system, creating your neurotransmitters, creating your hormones. All of these affect our mental health and our physical bodies. So super, super important. And again, you can order that at the lab link in the show notes. And you will send the lab collection kit directly to your home. And it's super easy to collect. We make sure that you use at checkout on the lab link, make sure you use Wellness Unleashed, all capital letters, as a coupon code at checkout, and you get 10% off from me. But very, very important. Your microbiome plays an immense role in your mental health. And you want to make sure you incorporate fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi, or consider high quality probiotic supplements. Very, very important that you do that. But again, I would suggest you test before you supplement, because you want to make sure that you're supplementing with the correct strains of probiotics. So let's talk about some herbal allies. Nature's pharmacy, right? That's the thing, is that the majority of medicines that you truly need can be found in nature. Herbal are safer typically than synthetic pharmaceuticals. They have less side effects. There are some. It's important when you're using herbal remedies that you at least consult with a practitioner like us or somebody else, because there are some contraindications to some herbs that can have a negative impact if you combine them with some medications or with other herbs. Or, like for instance, if you're pregnant, there's some herbs that can be definitely contraindicated for you to take. But we've talked about this class of herbs before. Let's talk about adaptogenic herbs. These help the body adapt to stress and promote balance. Some of those are like ashwagandha. We've talked about that a lot on this show. I use it all every day. I love it. Traditionally used in Ayurvedic medicine, it helps to lower cholesterol levels. The stress hormone, that's what cortisol is. So it helps lower cortisol levels, not cholesterol levels, cortisol levels, and can reduce symptoms of anxiety and stress. Another one, kind of like the master herb, it's sometimes called, is rhodiola rosea. It helps to improve mental performance and reduce fatigue in stressful situations. Ginseng can support energy, improve mood regulation, and help the body resist stress. And then there's some calming herbs. Chamomile. Chamomile tea is so calming. It's well known for its relaxing properties, often used as a tea to calm the nervous system and promote sleep. And then there's valerian root, which I also use here at home, primarily used for sleep issues and anxiety. It acts on GABA receptors in your brain, so it can influence your neurotransmitters and the effectiveness of them in your brain. Lavender is used in aromatherapy and as an oral supplement. It has calming, mood-enhancing effects. Lavender oil I use for a lot of different stuff. It's a wonderful natural healing support. And then there's some mood supporting herbs like St. John's wort. It has been studied a lot. There's a lot of actually research on the benefits and the effectiveness of St. John's wort. It's been studied for mild to moderate depression, but it's important to note that it can interact with many medications, including antidepressants. So you want to always consult with your doctor before using it. Saffron is emerging research suggests saffron may be as effective as some antidepressants for mild to moderate depression and anxiety. You see where we're going here? We're trying to get you to consider alternatives to these synthetics that are poisoning in our bodies, right? These pharmaceuticals. There's a lot of pharmaceuticals. There's natural, non-harm causing, equally as effective or even more effective natural remedies than there are the pharmaceuticals. Curcumin, again, this comes from turmeric. It's the active compound in turmeric that is very, very helpful. I take turmeric every day. Its anti-inflammatory properties may contribute to mood improvement. So you want to look for bioavailable forms. One thing to keep in mind with curcumin, you want to make sure that you first get high quality, preferably organic, and you want to make sure that it has piperin in it, which is a compound from black pepper, because for some reason that piperin helps to it's synergistic with the curcumin in the turmeric, and it helps to make it more effective in the body. So you want to make sure that you're getting a bioavailable form of that there. Let's talk about lifestyle. Regular exercise, bam, that's a powerful mood booster right there. Physical activity releases endorphins and can significantly reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. Find something you enjoy, whether it's lifting weights, running, hiking, or team sports. Maybe it's swimming, whatever it is, get out and get active. Quality sleep, we talk about that a lot. I don't need to beat it up, but you need to prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. It's non-negotiable for mental health. Just make it happen. Make sure you're turning those screens off, read a book, turn the lights down, and make sure that you're not drinking tons of caffeine in the afternoon. But you want to get on a consistent sleep schedule because it will make a huge difference in both your mental and your physical health. Mindfulness and meditation, just even a few minutes a day can make a difference. These practices train your brain. So we're training our brain to be present, reduce rumination, and cultivate emotional regulation. Get out and spend some time in nature. Spending time outdoors, whether hiking, gardening, or just sitting in a park, has profound benefits for mental well-being. Oh, excuse me. Strong social connections. This is one I think that we forget about a lot and that we've gotten really bad in our society about. But strong social connections combat loneliness. Especially I think during the COVID lockdowns, we somehow got to a place in society where it just seems like now we haven't recovered. Social connections aren't as important to us. And dare I say that just because you have 5,000 followers on Facebook or any other social media, it does not mean that you're connected socially. Just said it. Make sure that you're having strong social connections. We need friends. We need strong relationships in our lives. And for some reason, we've gotten to a place in our society where we just don't recognize the importance of all that. I want to encourage you to this week, work on a social connection, work on reaching out to somebody maybe you haven't talked to in a long time and rebuilding that connection, because it can make a difference. You want to combat loneliness by nurturing these relationships with friends and family, or maybe even join community groups. Maybe it's not an individual, it's a group, but talk openly with trusted individuals is incredibly therapeutic. Purpose and meaning, engaging in activities that bring you a sense of purpose and meaning, whether it's volunteering, whether it's work, hobbies, it can significantly boost your mental resilience. Find something that gives you a sense of purpose and meaning, because we all need that in life. Gentlemen, it's time to redefine what it means to be strong. It's not about enduring silently. It's not about the biggest pecs or the biggest biceps, but about courageously addressing our mental health. This means mental health. Let's commit to breaking the stigma. Here's your call to action. Start the conversation. If you're struggling to reach out, talk to a trusted friend, family member, or partner. If you notice a man in your life who seems to be struggling, gently check in with him. 2, seek professional help. If you or someone you know is experiencing persistent mental health issues, symptoms, please consult a healthcare professional. This could be a therapist, counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, or a functional medicine practitioner. They can offer diagnosis, treatment plans, and guidance. 3, I want you to explore holistic options. Discuss with your doctor how natural, herbal, and functional medicine approaches can complement traditional treatments. Remember, always consult a healthcare professional before starting any new supplement or herbal regimen, especially if you're on medications. And 4, prioritize self-care. Make time for the lifestyle practices we discussed. Exercise, sleep, nutrition, time in nature. These aren't luxuries, they're necessities for a healthy mind. Remember, you are not alone. There is strength in vulnerability, and there is hope in seeking help. Let's unleash wellness for all men, not just this month, but every single day. Thank you for joining me on Wellness Unleashed. Until next time, be well, be mindful, and be strong enough to ask for help. Thank you for watching Wellness Unleashed with Doc Stone on the ArrowStreamTV network. The opinions expressed by the host and guests of this show are theirs and not the opinions of the network or our sponsors. None of the information shared on today's episode should be taken as medical advice. Statements have not been approved by the FDA or any other governmental authority. And if you're experiencing any kind of illness or wellness issue, you are encouraged to consult with your licensed healthcare practitioner. And we do appreciate you watching our show and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.